one time I said one time, just to give you an example, because you got to change it up a little bit. So one time I said, Saturday's meeting is not mandatory. If you don't want to come, you don't have to. 98% of the people showed up. The two guys that didn't had an install that day, and they just went early. But the problem is they missed out on something, because I handed out fresh $100 bills. And I said, it pays to come to a McAfee meeting. Hey, this is Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. Now let's get started. Hi, Greg McAfee here, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. If you guys have not subscribed to the YouTube or to the pod channel, feel free to do so. Each week I put out this content because I really want to see each and every one of you grow your business, sleep better at night, and succeed. So hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. And on every Tuesday when I put out a new episode, you'll be the first to see it. So I've had a lot of questions from people on Facebook, my Facebook post. If you're not a member of the Iron Sharpens Iron Business Roundtable on Facebook, feel free to join that. We talk a lot about business stuff, and growing business is what it's all about. Helping each other. Iron sharpens iron. It's a biblical term where we sharpen each other, okay? So basically, I've had a lot of questions about how we have company meetings, and so I just want to talk about meetings today. First of all, meetings, we don't have meetings for meeting's sake. We have meetings for a couple different reasons. The main reason, and when we have a company meeting, I ask my company, why are we here? Because, a lot of times there's a couple new people there, and we just want everyone to understand why we have meetings. So I ask the question, why do we have meetings? And everybody says to stay informed, to stay on the same page, to know what's going on. All those things mean similar things, but I get different answers. To join as a group, which we don't get to do very often. And it's just good morale. It's good fun. I'll talk more about this in a minute about just how to make meetings fun. And so we've been doing company meetings since the garage days when I had a 24 by 24 garage divided down the middle, half warehouse, half office. And we had as many as 6 employees, 6 team members there in this little office, and I always joke about it. Anytime someone had to be reprimanded, everyone had to leave the office. But anyway, we've been having company meetings since the garage days when everyone would just pull up chairs around my desk, and we would talk about what's going on and where we want to go and what we're going to do and what's happening. And so we have not missed that since then. In other words, we're very consistent about our meetings. Today, and there are a lot of companies listening to this that are so large that they truly have to rent a hotel to get their team together, and or they have to just do a Zoom meeting or something like that because they're just so big. And I guess that's a good problem to have. But we have a training center that sits about 85 people, and it's only at half capacity right now with our meetings, so we're good to go. And a lot of you are smaller than us, so you have plenty of room to have a meeting. When we didn't have room for a meeting, we would rent out a little place, an office place or a catering place, and we'd have a meeting there in a bigger room. So you can make it happen. You just need to get creative about it. So don't use, I don't have enough room for a meeting as an excuse, is what I'm saying. So we've been having meetings for about 30 years. The They're very informative. We keep them on track. In other words, we have an agenda, and we discuss our leadership team. We discuss the agenda and the topics and what we're going to talk about and what's important to talk about. Basically, it's where are we going and how we're going to get there, and getting the team on board in the right seats. And we actually call it, we're McAfee heating, so we call it being Magnetized, drinking the Kool-Aid. And it's not a brainwashing technique or anything like that. It's getting people on board in your culture, in your way. So it's being Magnetized, because we do things differently than if you did come from a heating and air conditioning company. We're doing things totally different than they did. So you've got to be Magnetized. You've got to buy in. When you buy into it, you prosper and you grow and you see things differently, and it's a much better place to be than where you were. And that comes from my people, not me. Okay, so me personally, now I'm going to share my agenda. This is not your agenda. You have to come up with your own agenda. But I will share my agenda today. We just had a meeting Saturday, and it was about the future. It was about my vision. It's about where we're going, down to how much we're going to do in revenue in the next 5 years. So it was a very positive, upbeat meeting. But this was for the company meeting. So I just want to say, I'm going to discuss each meeting. We have company meetings. We have departmental meetings. We have leadership team meetings. We have just a quick powwow meeting, huddle. Let's have a quick huddle and discuss a few things. That can happen every morning. A huddle can happen every morning, and it should happen every morning. I know a lot of companies that spend an hour every morning, and that I'm not going to do that. I mean, that's just not us. That works great for them, but that's not us. Our mornings are very quick. We get in here, we get out, we get to the job. We don't have time to sit around and have a meeting every morning. We have a quick huddle. I mean, it could take 5 minutes, and we're loaded up and we're out of here. And service techs, a little bit different. They might meet periodically. We might do a breakfast. Just a wide variety of different things. We have group techs for we have group techs for each department, but for the service techs, sometimes it's hard to get them all in here. They 99% of them leave from their home. They drive our trucks home, so they're going to the first job. And, to bring them in here, it better be very important. To bring them all in here, it better be very important. Okay, so those are just some of our meetings. So let's talk about our Saturday morning meeting. Someone asked, why do you have it on Saturday morning? Well, again, doing this for 30 years, we have found that Saturday morning is the best morning. We're in Ohio, so we're 24/7 emergency service. We have found that Saturday morning from between 8 and noon is the best time to have a meeting. And we're more relaxed. We're prepared. We are not stressed out after a day or tired. Now, in a perfect world, nobody stayed up late Friday night. Nobody took in any adult beverages Friday night or anything like that. But for the most part, they know when the meetings are. By the way, we schedule them. They have the schedule for the following year. We schedule our meetings way out, so everybody has the schedule, and they can be prepared for meetings. And as I sit here, I'm watching. I've got a great view from the front of my building, and I'm watching my the install trucks. It's 7:15 a.m. and my install trucks are pulling out one at a time, and it's just a cool. I've never sat here at this time, I guess, but it's just really cool to watch them leave. And we've got a really cool air duct cleaning truck, and now it's leaving. And so it's just cool to see. If you own a company, it's really cool to see your fleet pulling out, right? It is for me, and I've been doing this 31 years, and it's still cool. Okay, so back to meetings. We have an agenda. It's very important to have an agenda. So first of all, people ask, why do you have it on Saturdays? It's the best day to have it. It's the best time to have it. And yes, our meetings are mandatory. You can miss one. We have them quarterly, by the way. We used to have them monthly. We had a monthly meeting, so every one Saturday a month. And then I decided that's just a bit too much. And then we went every other month. And we did that for many years. And then I decided, I think we can do this quarterly. We'll just add an hour to the meeting. Everybody voted yes. They're willing to stay another hour on a Saturday to have it quarterly instead of every other month. And so it works very well. My team buys in. Does everyone want to be here and they're up and at 'em and full of energy? No, but it's probably 90%. And but they are mandatory. And yes, if they're hourly, they do get paid. They do not get paid what they make when they're out there generating revenue. They get paid what we call meeting pay and training pay. We have been audited by the Department of Labor years ago. I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 years ago, we were audited by the Department of Labor because one of our disgruntled employees who quit turned us in for something that we didn't pay them for lunch during a certain period of time. And so we got audited, and they normally go back 2 years, but they couldn't find enough on us in 2 years. So they went back 3 years, and they fined us a certain amount. It was a very low amount from what I heard compared to what other companies get fined, which I thought it was too much, but it was still a low amount. But they said, we had a lot of questions, and they said, yes, you can, as long as it's above minimum wage, you can pay people a training scale amount and a meeting pay amount. And so that's what we do. And it's only fair. I mean, I'm paying people to learn. I'm paying people to train. And company meetings just bring everybody on board. My goal is to make everyone more money. As a matter of fact, I do a lot of fun stuff. One time I said one time, just to give you an example, because you got to change it up a little bit. So one time I said, Saturday's meeting is not mandatory. If you don't want to come, you don't have to. 98% of the people showed up. The two guys that didn't had an install that day, and they just went early. But the problem is they missed out on something because I handed out fresh $100 bills. And I said, it pays to come to a McAfee meeting. Because if it's not mandatory, you don't have to pay. If it's not a mandatory meeting, you don't have to pay. But I paid them anyway. So they all got a $100 bill. They were happy. So Saturday morning, I just randomly, we have a Plinko game. It's a big Plinko game that we use for contests and stuff like that. And I just randomly said, you know what, guys? It pays to come to a McAfee meeting. Everybody gets one chip on the Plinko game. And I'll be darned if 50% of them didn't hit a $50 Plinko. I think we had 10, 20, and 50. And I'll bet 50% hit a $50 bill. So it pays to come to a McAfee meeting. You've got to make it fun. And we do have a lot of fun. So I'll go over the agenda. So first of all, for me, prayer is very important. I pray for my team on a daily basis. So in a company meeting, I open up with prayer. And I've been doing this from day one. And I now, probably for the last 10 years, I ask for prayer requests. Does anybody have a prayer request? And they don't have to verbally say their prayer request. They just raise their hand. And I would say, if I were to guess, I would say that 60% of hands went up Saturday morning. So we all have prayer requests. We have family issues. We have financial issues. We have health issues. We have relationship issues. So everybody needs prayer, and if you don't think you do, you probably need more than the rest of us. So I open up with prayer. I'm also extremely patriotic. I served in the Marine Corps. I've always been patriotic, and I fly a 6x10 flag out of the front of my building, along with a 5x8 state of Ohio flag and a 5x8 Marine Corps flag. So I'm very patriotic. And so we open up after prayer. We all stand, remove our caps, and say the Pledge of Allegiance. And we've been doing this so long that Saturday I started it off with, I pledge allegiance to the flag, and I stopped, and it was strong, very strong. I love that. That's what I'm all about. I'm all about America. I try to buy American when I can, and I'm all about that. Very patriotic. You know, it's part of the McAfee way. I'll be honest with you. It's part of what, the McAfee way started with me, and this is what we get. And the guys, they like made in USA stuff. They like USA made products, and we push that as hard as we can. It's getting harder and harder with these manufacturers going to China, and now we have a president. 2021, we have a president who cares less and will sell us out to China. In my opinion, if he could, but that's another podcast. It's not even funny. But then on the agenda, we have breakfast. So I cater in breakfast for the team. And we've got a locally owned company here called Archers, and they bring in a great breakfast. I mean, it's full blown, scrambled eggs and bacon and sausage and biscuits and gravy and bagels, and it's full blown breakfast. And they love it. There's very little left when we're finished. And then we have announcements. So we might have different managers with different announcements for us. We have our McAfee Foundation for Children and Youth. So we might have an announcement for that, how much we raised, how much we gave. We give to a lot of children's stuff, a lot of events, a lot of different organizations, from the Salvation Army to some other nonprofit, local nonprofit companies here. Sunday was Mother's Day. So Saturday we gave tribute to the mothers in our meeting, and they got to go first for breakfast. But I always get, for Father's Day and Mother's Day, I get a card and just a little gift to the mothers, and then we share positives. And I'll tell you what, this is very powerful. So been doing this for, I don't know, 10, 15 years. What's positive in your life? And it'll blow you away how many we have. I mean, people are now ready for this. They can't wait to share. It could be my child, got an A in school, or it could be we're expecting a new baby. We had 4 of those. We had 4 of those Saturday. So that was pretty cool. So 4 people in our company are expecting babies, and that's exciting. Of course, I had to throw in, COVID, downtime, see what happens. So anyway, welcome. We welcome new team members. Very important. We have someone stand up and, give a little a paragraph or so on the new team member and really how they're doing. And it is comical, because if you let a coworker do it, or, a lead, like a lead installer did Saturday, I mean, he went all out, and we were all laughing. And the new employee was laughing. I mean, he enjoyed it. And then he said a few things. And so it was a good time. And then we have what we call the McAfee Way Award. When someone, or sometimes 2 people, stand out and just do something extremely special for either a customer or another coworker, or just in general, we award them. They get a card, and they get either a $50 bill or a $50 gas card. But it's just something to say thank you for going out of your way to do something special for someone, or just accelerating. The individual who won Saturday, been with us a very short time, has worked his way from scratch into a lead installing position, and he's not done yet. So he's a go-getter, and we appreciate that. And that's what it takes. I wish I had 3 more of him. Okay, so then we have a local company here. It's called Young's Dairy, and it's like a mini amusement park along with farm animals, batting cages, golfing range, all kinds of little stuff for kids. And it's called Young's Dairy. And so we had 6 tickets for families, 6 tickets to go to Young's Dairy. We raffled them off 2 at a time, and then we had everyone's name in a bowl, and we picked 3 winners for 2 tickets each. And so that's always fun. And again, I had the Plinko game, so that's fun. And then what we had was what we call TWG. It's Time with Greg. So now it's I get an hour to basically an hour or 2, depending on the meeting and what all I have to share. Just to share my thoughts, to share my vision, to share where we're at, where we're going. It could be what we really need to work on. But for the most part, it's very positive. It's what we're doing well. It's what we just need to continue to do well and how to do it better. So I try to be very positive, and I don't have to really try. For these meetings, I am so pumped. I am ready to go, man. I throw in a little humor, and it's not planned. It's just there. And I just make it fun. These things have to be fun. Who wants to get up and get here by 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning for a company meeting? I mean, nobody's like raising their hand to volunteer. It's what we do, though, and they appreciate it, and they attend, and it's very good for the company. So then we just have we could have different things. We could have sometimes I step out of the room, and then one of my managers will run the meeting and say, what do we need to work on that Greg doesn't need to know about? And they're more free to talk. Just lay it out on the line. What's bothering you? What do we need to do? What do we need to fix? And that's pretty powerful. You'll find as time goes on, first of all, it takes them a while to do this, but as you do it, they give honest answers, honest responses, and actually as time goes on, there's less and less and less of them because you just start fixing things, and they feel more free to bring it up anytime. So you got to have freedom. You got to have freedom to speak in your company. Everyone does. One of the topics is, what's important to you. And so people will share that. Then we always have a break. It depends on how long I talk. I have a break during my talk, and then we'll come back and I'll wrap up my talk, but there's still more. Then we break into departmental meetings. So if there is an agenda to have departmental meetings, and sometimes there's very important stuff we got to get across to that department. And other times they've met enough during the week, they don't need a meeting. Go home, have a great weekend. But we did have, like this past weekend, I actually wanted to go over some things with our service department. I'm increasing some spiffs and perks and lead generations and our comfort family maintenance agreements and all that. So I'm increasing their spiffs on a temporary basis. If I see results, we'll keep going. If I don't see results, we won't. I think we'll see results on this one. So I ran the service department meeting, and there were jobs on the board for air duct cleaning. So as soon as we're done, the air duct cleaners take off and go to work. And then, the customer service team met for just a little bit, sales meeting, sales talked a little bit, accounting talked for a little bit, and we were all out of here by around noon. So, and that's exactly what I want to do. So I say that to say, stay on track. Write down, have an agenda, write down an outline for your agenda and pass it out. Make sure everybody has it so they know exactly what you're going to talk about. And then always, always, always start on time. Always. Because if you don't start on time, they probably won't even be there on time. Always start on time. And then always end. Always end at a good time. If I tell people it will not go any longer than noon. Sometimes we get out of here by 11. I mean, I talked for 1 hour. I got everything out I needed to get out. We're out of here by 11. Even after a half-hour departmental meeting. Sometimes if it's a hot or cold time, we might have a full schedule. So, and if it's too full, I'll cancel the meeting because work overrides this meeting. So if it's too full, we just cancel the meeting. Or if we just don't have enough on the plate for a meeting, we'll cancel the meeting. Remember what I said. We're not having meetings for meeting's sake. We're having meetings to get across things and keep people informed. And if we don't have enough on the list, then we're not going to have a meeting. But start and finish on time, and it will be appreciated, and it will go far. Don't ramble on. Gotta have a plan. I mentioned this before, but if you don't know what to talk about, ask your people. They know what to talk about. They know what they want to hear. Okay, so I also want to say, educate your team on purpose. I'm educating them as I'm speaking. I'm filling them in on some things they may not know. So educate your team on purpose because change doesn't happen by chance. You have to continue to stay in front of your team. You have to continue to let them know what gets you, what motivates you. See, they need to know that. Some people will say, "Why? I don't understand. Why do they need to know that?" Because they work for you. And they trust you, and they're there for you. They come in every day. Fill them in on what you're thinking and where this company's going because they're part of the company. And if you get them going with you, you're going to have a stronger company. Think about that. And then I'll wrap up with be consistent with your meetings. I've seen guys say, we need to have meetings, and they start this, and they have an hour or so meeting, and then they won't have one for 6 months. If you're going to do that, don't have a meeting because you now are very inconsistent. They see that, and it's not good. So meetings are important. I challenge you to start having them. You'll see a big difference in your company, and you'll see a big difference in you. So that's it for today. Hope this helps. Have a great day. Carry on.